Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Legal Decipher. In the previous video, we had learned about the difference between abatement and criminal conspiracy. If you had not seen that video, you can go and check it. The link is in the description below. In this video, we are going to discuss Chapter 6 of the Indian Penal Code. We'll go through the chapter and try to understand the substance therein. So if you are new here, please like and subscribe to my channel to get the video notifications. So let's get started. So today we are going to talk about chapter 6 that deals with offences against the state. So this chapter basically talks about those offences that are against the government of India. So section 121 talks about waging or attempting to wage war or abetting the waging of war against the government of India. So whoever wages war against the government of India or attempts to wage war or abets the waging of such war. So any person who is actually waging war against the government of India, or he is trying to wage such war, or is involved in the abatement of such waging of war, then that person shall be punished with death or imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 121A talks about conspiracy to commit offences punishable by section 121. So whoever conspires to commit any such offence that is punishable under section 121, then for such conspiracy that person will be punished with imprisonment for life or imprisonment of either description that may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. So if that person within or without the territorial jurisdiction of India conspires to commit any such offence that is punishable under section 121, or he conspires to overawe by means of criminal force or by showing criminal force against the central government or any state government of India, then that person will be punishable under this section. Now explanation says, to constitute a conspiracy under this section, it is not necessary that any act or illegal omission shall take place in pursuance thereof. So there may be any act or illegal omission or not, but that won't necessarily need to take place to constitute a conspiracy under this section. The conspiracy alone will attract this section. Now section 122 talks about collecting arms etc. with intention of waging war against the government of India. So whoever tries to collect men, arms or ammunitions, or otherwise he prepares to wage war with the intention of waging war or being prepared to wage war against the government of India, then that person shall be imprisoned for life, or he may be imprisoned for a term not exceeding 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 123 talks about concealing with intent to facilitate design to wage war. Say for example, any person has by any act or by any illegal omission tried to conceal or has actually concealed the existence of a design, a plan or a blueprint of such plan to wage war against the government of India, and he intended by such concealment to facilitate, or he knew that if he tried to conceal such design, it would facilitate such waging of war against the government of India. So that person who tried to conceal or actually concealed the existence of such design to wage war against the government of India shall be punished with imprisonment for either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 124 talks about assaulting president, governor etc. with intent to compel or restrain the exercise of any lawful power. Now we all know that under the Constitution of India, the president of India and the governors of the various states of India have certain lawful powers that they exercise by law. Now if any person intends to compel or restrain any of such governors or the President of India from exercising such lawful powers that are provided to them under the Constitution of India, or if that person assaults or wrongfully restrains or attempts to wrongfully restrain by overawing, which means by showing criminal force or by actually inflicting criminal force to attempt to overawe the president or the governors of India, then that person shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 124A talks about sedition. This is a very important section. It says whoever by words either spoken or written or by signs or by visible representation or otherwise. So whatever may be the method, it may be either spoken or written words or by signs or by visible representation or effigy or anything. If he brings or attempts to bring hatred or contempt, or if he excites or attempts to excite disaffection towards the government who is established by law in India, then that person shall be punished with imprisonment for life, to which fine may be added, or with imprisonment which may extend to 3 years, to which fine may be added, or with fine. So whatever may be the extent of his crime, according to that he will be punished. Now explanation says that the expression disaffection includes disloyalty and all feelings of enmity. And explanation also says that comments expressing disapprobation of the measures of the government with a view to obtain their alteration by lawful means without exciting or attempting to excite hatred, contempt or disaffection do not constitute an offence under this section. Also, the comments expressing disapprobation of the administrative or other action of the government without exciting or attempting to excite hatred, contempt or disaffection do not constitute an offence under this section. So we must understand that we live in a democracy. Everyone in our country has the right to express their feelings or their opinions. Now if a person is using lawful means and commenting to express his disapprobation by lawful measures, by lawful means, against any policy, scheme or any step of the government, and to try to obtain an alteration by lawful means without exciting or attempting to excite hatred, contempt or disaffection, then that is okay. We live in a democracy. We have the power to express our feelings about any acts that are done by the government, any steps that are done by the government or any schemes or policies that are followed by the government. Now if that is by lawful means, through peaceful means, then that is okay. But if any person tries to excite people or tries to attempt to excite such hatred, contempt or disaffection, then that will be considered as an offence under this section. Now section 125 talks about waging war against any Asiatic power in alliance with the government of India. So before explaining this section, we need to understand that India is a major powerhouse, and so Indian government is in charge to maintain peace and tranquility in the Asiatic region. India doesn't allow the disturbance of peace in the east, and that is why we have these provisions to neutralize any threat that disturbs Asia. Plus India is committed to maintain peace as per UN conventions, and that is why whoever wages war against the government of any Asiatic power who is in alliance or is at peace with the government of India, or if that person attempts to wage such war or abets the waging of such war, then that person will be punished in India with an imprisonment for life, to which fine may be added, or with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years, to which fine may be added, or with fine. Now section 126 talks about committing depredation on territories of power at peace with the government of India. So what is depredation? Depredation means to attack and plunder. So whoever tries to attack or plunder, if he commits such act or makes preparation to commit such act on the territories who are in alliance or at peace with the government of India, then that person who tries to commit such act shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine, and that property that was gained by such depredation will be liable to be forfeited. Now section 127 talks about receiving property taken by war or depredation mentioned in section 125 and 126. So whoever gains any property, acquires any property, or receives any property by committing any act that is mentioned as an offense in section 125 and 126, then that person shall be punished with imprisonment with a term that may extend to 7 years, and he shall also be liable to fine and to forfeiture of the property so received. So that property will be forfeited. Now section 128 talks about public servant voluntarily allowing prisoner of state or war to escape. So if any person is a prisoner of war or he is a prisoner of state, and any public servant who was liable to keep such offender in custody, if that public servant voluntarily allows that prisoner to escape from such lawful custody, then that public servant will be punished with imprisonment for life or an imprisonment that may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 129 says that if such public servant does the same thing but not voluntarily, by negligence. So public servant negligently suffering such prisoner to escape. If such prisoner escapes due to the negligence of such public servant who was to keep such prisoner in his lawful custody, then such public servant shall be punished for such negligence with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 130, which is the last section of this chapter, talks about aiding escape of rescuing or harboring such prisoner. So if any person knows that the prisoner is a state prisoner or a prisoner of war, and still he aids or assists to escape such prisoner from lawful custody, or if he rescues such prisoner or attempts to rescue such prisoner, or if he harbors or conceals any such prisoner after that prisoner has escaped from lawful custody, or if such person offers resistance or attempts to offer resistance for the recapturing of such prisoner. So that person has escaped from the lawful custody and now the authorities are trying to recapture him, and this person is offering resistance or is attempting to offer resistance for such recapture. Then in all these cases, if he aids, assists, harbors, conceals or resists, then that person will be punished with imprisonment for life or imprisonment for a term which may extend to 10 years along with fine for any such act that are mentioned in section 130. Now explanation says that a state prisoner or prisoner of war who is permitted to be at large on his peril within certain limits in India is said to escape from lawful custody if he goes beyond the limits within which he is allowed to be at large. So say for example that prisoner of war is permitted parole. Now what is a parole? A parole is a temporary release. So if that prisoner of war is temporarily released and told to be within a certain territorial limits inside India, then that prisoner will thought to have escaped the lawful custody if he goes beyond the territorial limits that were allowed to him. So that's all in this video. If you like my videos, then don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.